Right now, our camera is just sitting there while the player moves around. All right, but let's fix that. In this no bullshit video, we'll create a simple script that'll make the camera follow the player around smoothly. No fluff, straight to the point. Let's go. All right, so back in our project, under the scripts folder, we'll create another script, another behavior script, and we'll call this camera follow. Open that up. Once that's open, we'll delete all this junk out of here, and we'll create two variables. So we'll call this first one public transform, and we'll call this target. Next, create another public. We'll do a vector3 this time, and we'll call this offset. And we'll initialize this right off the bat. We'll just call it new vector3, and we'll do parentheses. For this, just from testing, I already know what these numbers should be. So 0f, we'll do 5f, and then we'll do -7f. Next, create another function. So we'll do void, and we'll do late update, parentheses, braces, and then we'll do an if statement. So if target equal to null, sorry, if target is not equal, useless for us, we'll do transform that position, and we'll do equals target that position plus our offset. We'll do end a block there. So for the variables, this transform net target, this is the object that the camera will follow. So we'll set that to the player in the inspector, and the vector3 offset, that'll be where we want to set the camera away from the player. So it'll be 0f, 5f, -7f. So it'll be 0 on x, 5 on y, and -7 on f and z. So it'll be 5 units above the player, and it'll be 7 units behind the player. Then on late update, this gets called after all of our update methods have moved. So since we're controlling the player in the update function, we don't want this to update at the same time. It'll give us a really jittery camera movement. So on our if statement right here, this will check if target is null or is not null. So if we don't set the target here, we won't get a bunch of errors in the inspector and kind of break our game. So it'll just not move at all. So it'll just ignore everything in here if this check doesn't pass. And then in transform that position right here, we just set the position of the camera to the target position, which is where the player is, plus our offset. So wherever the player is in world space, it'll set the camera there, plus the offset. So it'll be plus, it'll take this number right here, and it'll be offset away and above the player this amount right here. So these you can customize and play with. We'll go ahead and save this, jump back into Unity. Once the script is compiled, we'll go into our camera in the scene. All we'll do is we can just minimize everything in here. We'll just drag the script we just made, camera follow, we'll add it to the camera right here. And the target we'll set as our player. And these you can see you can play with. So now when we click play, camera should follow the player around. Yep, so we're in here, it's following us around as we move. A little jittery, but it could also just be the asset pack. And move around in here and it'll just follow us up. It'll follow us up slopes when we bump around. It'll follow us anywhere. Take it. Oh, yep, good. And one quick more little bonus thing I just wanted to show you guys is, so I have this little hole right here. So if we fall down here, you'll notice we can't see anything that we're below. So there's a little platform below here that we just can't see. So to deal with this, we'll just do a quick little cheat way to do it. There's other ways you can do it to collide and move the camera, but that's just beyond the scope. So we'll create a nice little tiny script that'll actually handle this a little bit nice. So we'll go ahead into the scripts folder. We'll create another script. Call this one object hider. And we'll open that up. That's open. We'll delete all that junk out of there, and we'll initialize one variable. That's all we need for this. And we'll do public game object. And we'll call this object to hide. Then we'll do an on trigger enter. So void trigger enter. We have that. Just do if a tag go to player. We'll detect if the player is the one that collided with this. Open braces. We'll do objects to hide. Set active. In parentheses, and we'll just set that to false. That'll disable all the objects we have set an object to hide right here. That's all that script is. Go back into Unity, and in Unity, we'll create another cube, the object, transform, come over to the hole, drag it down a little bit, scale it so it's smaller, doesn't need to be huge, enough for the player to hit it every time they fall down this hole. And then in the inspector here, component right here, mesh renderer, this is the actual mesh. This is all the things you're seeing right here visually. We could just disable that. There's no need for the player to see that wall that they hit there. And then we'll just turn this to is trigger on the collider. We'll set that to true. And then we'll just drag the script we just created, object hider, right in there. And the objects to hide, drag the object we want to hide right in there, upper. So I went ahead and separated all the objects right here. So all the objects that are up here that I want to hide are in this folder. So I can actually throw in all these collectibles there too. I want to see. And to do that, all your objects that are up here, we'll highlight them all. So if you click one and you hold shift, click all the ones above it, it'll select it. Or if you want to do specific ones, click one, hold control, and you can click each one individually, all the ones that you want to actually see or grab. Once you have them all selected, just right click them, create empty parent, and we can call this upper, or the upper floor. And they'll all be on this one game object parented there. So we go to that trigger we just made, we drag in upper right there. All those objects that are below this, they're the children of this parent right here. So we'll grab that parent game object. And this is all the script is going to do right up here. You see this little checkbox? All it's going to do is going to take it off. It's all going to disappear just like that. So now, if everything works, save that, go into the scene, and now when we roll into that trigger, everything should hide. Boom, perfect. So it's a nice, cheat, little easy way to have multiple floors in your level. Nice. And that's it. You built a simple 3D game in Unity. And so we got a player that you can move around. We got a camera that follows you around. We also got some objects you can collect that tracks your score. And then we even have that little script that'll let you fall below levels and destroy, well, not destroy, but deactivate everything above you. So you can actually see what's below them. That's a great start. You can only go up from here. This is really stupid, small little game. You can build it as big as you want, as small as you want, move on to something else. It was just a quick little series to get your feet wet and get you going in Unity. This is very basic, but this will just show you a couple of the ways you can interact and everything with scripts and input. Nice little overview of things. So cut the bullshit, get out there, make some fucking games. I love you, filthy animals. Do great work.